What happens when you're playing a game developer sim and you go bankrupt because of piracy? Well, that's what two game developers, Patrick and Daniel Klug from Greenhart Games, wanted to impart onto people who pirated their game, Game Developer Tycoon. What it was is they initially released the game, I think for $8, pretty fair, and they said if we get a Steam code later, you can have it, we'll give you all the support. Please, please, please buy the game. And after a few days, 3,104 copies of the 3,318 being played were pirated. So they purposely did something kind of unique. What they did was they released their own cracked version of the game to torrent sites, and there were a few extra lines of code. Pretty much what it was is the player, as the game developer, could go bankrupt because of constant piracy of their game, and it was actually kind of funny because people, they found it funny. They found people who had been pirating the game were posting on message boards like, oh, what do I do? Do I DRM? How do I get over this thing? My game is not making any money. I'm going out of business. This isn't fair. What's wrong with this game? It was the game developers imparting their own message onto people. Take a walk in our shoes for a little bit and see how it feels to fail because of piracy.
Such sweet, rich, buttery irony. I love it. And the best part is they didn't realize what was going on.
Yeah.
They didn't hear the words that were coming out of their own mouths.
Yeah.
I can't beat this game because piracy is ruining it. I can't make a profit. I'm making this awesome game, but pirates keep stealing it. What do I do? Help me.
Well,
they didn't get it.
It brings up a debate of like, you know, who does piracy hurt? And it's just these two guys trying to start their own game studio.
This was the reason that they made the game.
Almost. I mean, who would make Game Developer Tycoon?
Yeah.
I could be running a roller coaster.
Release a cracked version of it that would teach people a lesson.
So this was all a social engineering thing? Maybe a way to get their name in the news?
If you released a cracked version of your game on torrent sites and you're surprised that 3,100 people out of 3,300 downloaded it illegally, like, yeah, you set a trap.
So they set a trap on purpose.
And people fell for it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, of course they set a trap on purpose, but I mean, was this their thought from the beginning? Like, we're going to do this?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, they knew they didn't want to put DRM on their game. They didn't want...
Well, people hate it,
yeah.
you know. So,
but they knew that it would be pirated extremely easily, so they set up this learning lesson for people.
Learning lesson.
And it was extremely effective, although, yeah, but... Yeah, I know.
We're both great.
Yeah.
So what one of them said was, there are still individuals who either can't make a legal purchase because of payment issues or who genuinely cannot afford the game. I don't have a quarrel with you. To the rest of you who could afford the game, consider this. We are just two guys working our butts off trying to start our own game studio to create games that are fun to play.
I'm sure that a small percentage of these people that downloaded the game and encountered these piracy issues were like, you got me. I get it. Pretty crafty. Let me put down my $8 so I can play the real game. But a vast majority of them were like, fuck this, I'll find a better crack.
Is there a solution to piracy that is fair to players and developers? And right now, I don't know. I feel like not really. I mean, DRM is a solution, but people who actually buy the game hate DRM. And
I think it's good that this happened because a lot of people realize, oh, this is what it's like to be a game developer. I had no idea.
Well,
that
you
this
feel
was
for
such
these
a
indie
problem.
guys, like they're just trying to, you know, they've been working for so long and putting their blood, sweat, and tears into making this product, and it's just like they see nothing for it, and it is terrible.
And most people don't understand their plight, but this is not a new thing. I mean, the most famous example I can think of this extra code in the pirated copy was Earthbound, and how you could play the whole game uninterrupted, but it would always crash on the final boss.
Whoa!
Which is so cruel and so perfect.
They're those magnificent bastards.
I know, right?
Right? Well, I guess that would force you to buy the game.
Yes, after much swearing, it would force you to buy the game.
That's a very clever solution.
Yes, so buy this game.
It would
and buy
make me
Earthbound.
infuriated, but.
Yeah.
I guess everyone's infuriated, reunited in fury. Is this a good solution to piracy, or is this a dick move? Or is it
both?
Kind of
Could be
both, but that's okay. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you have a better solution for piracy that is fine, that works for developers and players.